What's something people don't know about finding gold in rivers? Most people think it's all about luck, just stumbling across a shiny nugget by chance. But what if I told you there's a science to it and you can actually predict where gold hides? Today, I'm exposing the secrets that turn ordinary riverbanks into gold-filled treasure maps, and I'll show you actionable tips to help you find gold like a pro. The truth is, rivers are not just random streams of water, they're powerful dynamic systems that sort and deposit minerals according to their weight. Gold, being exceptionally heavy, follows a set of rules as it travels downstream. Learning to read the river is the single most important skill a prospector can develop, turning a hopeful guess into a calculated search. It's a language written in stone, sand, and current, and understanding it unlocks the river's secrets. This journey begins not with a shovel, but with observation. Before you even dip your pan into the water, you must learn to see the river for what it is, a giant natural sluice box. Over millennia, storms and erosion have washed gold from ancient veins in the mountains, sending it on a long journey downstream. This gold, known as placer gold, is what we seek. It doesn't just float along aimlessly, it is pushed, rolled, and bounced along the riverbed by the force of the water. Your task is to identify the places where the river has lost its energy and has been forced to drop its heaviest treasures. These special locations are where fortunes can be made, and they are not as mysterious as they might seem to the untrained eye. The real excitement of prospecting lies in this detective work. It's about piecing together the clues the river leaves behind. You are looking for signs of past floods, changes in the water's speed, and the natural obstacles that interrupt its flow. Every boulder, every bend, and every crack in the bedrock tells a story about where heavy materials have settled. By understanding the simple principles of physics that govern the river, you can dramatically increase your chances of success. This is not just about finding gold, it's about engaging with nature on a deeper level, learning its rhythms and patterns, and earning the reward it offers to those who listen closely. So let us put aside the notion of blind luck and embrace the role of a river detective. The gold is out there, waiting in predictable locations for those with the knowledge to find it. It has been deposited over countless years, sorted by the immense power of moving water. Your adventure starts with learning to identify these natural collection points, the places where the river has done most of the hard work for you. With a keen eye and a bit of understanding, you can transform a simple walk along the riverbank into a genuine treasure hunt, following a map that nature itself has drawn for you. The promise of gold is real, and it begins with reading the river. Stick around, because in this video, you'll learn exactly how to spot the river's golden clues for yourself. At the heart of successful river prospecting is the concept of a gold trap. Put simply, a gold trap is any place in the river where the water slows down enough to drop the heavy materials it is carrying. Gold is incredibly dense, about 19 times heavier than an equal volume of water. This extreme weight means that it is one of the very first things to fall out of suspension when a river's current loses its power. Think of the river during a flood. It's a torrent of energy, capable of moving rocks, logs, and vast amounts of sand and gravel. Within this chaotic mixture, tiny flakes and nuggets of gold are also being transported downstream, but they always travel along the shortest and most direct path. These gold traps are not random, they are created by the river's geography and the obstacles within it. The key principle to remember is that water flow is not uniform. It speeds up on the outside of bends and slows down dramatically on the inside. It rushes over the top of a large boulder but creates a calm, low-pressure zone directly behind it. Every feature that disrupts the smooth, fast flow of water has the potential to be a gold trap. Your job as a prospector is to hunt for these areas of reduced velocity. You are essentially looking for the river's resting spots, the places where it has taken a breather, and let its heaviest load settle to the bottom. Consider how gold moves during a major flood event, which is when most gold is redistributed. The water has enough force to scour the riverbed, picking up gold that was previously settled and moving it downstream. As the floodwaters begin to recede, the river's energy decreases. The first thing to drop out will be the heaviest material, the gold. It will sink quickly and work its way down through the lighter sands and gravels until it reaches a solid, non-porous layer, such as bedrock or a dense layer of clay. This is why gold is often found at the very bottom of a deposit, resting on what we call false bedrock or true bedrock. Therefore, finding gold is a two-step process in the river. First, you must identify a feature that creates a gold trap, a place where the water slows down. Second, you must dig down to the point where the gold would have stopped its vertical journey, which is the bedrock or the first impenetrable layer you hit. These traps have been working for thousands of years, collecting gold from countless floods. By learning to recognize their telltale signs, you are not just looking for gold from the last storm. You are tapping into a concentration of gold that has been accumulating for centuries, patiently waiting for a clever prospector to uncover it. One of the most classic and reliable gold traps is the inside bend of a river. Imagine the river as a race car on a track. As it goes around a corner, it wants to swing to the outside edge. This means the water on the outside of the bend moves much faster and has more erosive power, often creating a steep, undercut bank. Conversely, the water on the inside of the bend moves much more slowly. This slower moving water cannot hold on to heavy materials, so it deposits them. This creates what is known as a point bar, a gently sloping beach of sand and gravel. Gold, being the heaviest material of all, will be deposited here, usually at the upstream end of the bar and at the lowest possible depth. Another excellent place to prospect is directly behind large obstacles in the river. Boulders, rock outcrops, or even fallen trees can create fantastic gold traps. As the fast-moving water hits the front of the obstacle, it is forced to go around or over it. This creates a low-pressure eddy or calm zone immediately downstream of the object. Heavy materials like gold that are being bounced along the riverbed will fall into this calm pocket and become trapped. Look for boulders that are too large to be moved by a typical flood. The bigger the rock, the bigger the calm zone behind it, and the greater the potential for a significant gold deposit to have formed over many years of accumulation. The ultimate gold trap, however, is the bedrock itself. Bedrock is the solid rock floor of the river. Over time, the force of the water and abrasive gravels can carve cracks, crevices, and potholes into its surface. These features are perfect natural riffles in the river's sluice box. As gold is tumbled along the bedrock, it is heavy enough to sink into any small fissure it encounters. Once inside a crack, it is incredibly difficult for the river's current to lift it back out. Prospectors should look for exposed sections of bedrock and pay close attention to any cracks that run perpendicular to the direction of the water flow, as these are the most effective at trapping gold. Finally, a less obvious but highly productive area is what we call a bench deposit. These are old river gravels that are now situated high and dry on the riverbank, sometimes many feet above the current water level. These benches represent the location of the riverbed during ancient floods, or a time when the river followed a different course. Because they were once active parts of the river, they contain the same types of gold deposits, but they have been left behind as the river has cut deeper into the landscape. Finding these benches requires a keen eye for geology, but they can hold rich, untouched deposits that other prospectors, focused only on the current waterline, might have missed entirely. Once you have identified a promising-looking gold trap, the next step is to test it. This is done through a process called sampling or prospecting, and the gold pan is your most important tool. The goal is not to process large amounts of material immediately, but to take small targeted samples from different parts of the trap to see if any gold is present. For an inside bend, for example, you would take a sample from the head of the gravel bar, another from the middle, and one from the tail. Dig down as deep as you can, ideally to bedrock or a hard-packed clay layer, as this is where the heaviest gold will have settled. Fill your pan about 3/4 full with this material. The art of gold panning is a skill that requires practice but is based on a simple principle: separating heavy gold from lighter sand and gravel using water. Submerge your pan in the river and begin by breaking up any clumps of clay or dirt with your hands, ensuring everything is thoroughly wet. Then, perform a vigorous shaking motion, keeping the pan level just under the water. This allows the heavy gold and black sands to settle to the very bottom of the pan. After shaking, tilt the pan forward slightly and let the water wash off the top layer of lighter gravels. Repeat this process of shaking and washing until you are left with only a small amount of heavy concentrate at the bottom. As you get down to the last spoonfuls of material, you will notice a concentration of dark, heavy sand. This is black sand, which is composed of heavy minerals like magnetite and hematite. Because these minerals are also heavy, they are a great indicator that you are in the right kind of spot for gold. Carefully swirl the last bit of water in the pan to separate the lighter black sand from the even heavier gold. If you have chosen your spot well, you will see a beautiful tail of glittering gold flakes and specks fanning out against the dark background. The number of colors or specks you see in your pan tells you whether the spot is worth more serious work with a sluice box. Remember that prospecting is a game of patience and persistence. Not every pan will contain gold, but each sample provides you with valuable information. If your test pans from a particular gold trap are consistently showing good color, you have found what prospectors call pay dirt. This is when you can begin to process more material with a sluice box to recover larger quantities of gold. Always explore safely, be aware of changing river conditions, and respect the environment. The river holds its secrets tightly, but with knowledge, observation, and a bit of hard work, you can learn its language and unlock the golden treasures it holds.